Hi, hello, what's up? Welcome to a new video. Today I wanted to talk about something while also playing a game with the car in it. So what we're talking about is what some which have been talked about quite a lot, but I thought I'd try and do it in somewhat different way. The Mazda 787B and the story about this. So we're going to go out on the track now. This is the Mazda Raceway. It's not Le Mans, but it's a Mazda track and I really quite like this track. I have a couple of notes in front of me. I have pretty much a story of the 787. We're just going to drive around, do a little bit of racing, and talk about 787B's story. So, this car is a four-rotor. As you can hear. Four-rotor. Absolutely sounds amazing. Do a little donut real quick. Warm up those tyres. That's the way we do it. Right, this car was the car which won 1991 Le Mans. But to get how this car won that, you have to go back a few years to about, I think it's 1988, when Mazda was obviously still competing in Le Mans, but they were running the 767, which was a four-rotor again, but was obviously the early development of that engine, that platform. The race which it raced in, it 17th and 19th in 1988, and then next year they come back, tweaked a few things, and made the 767B, which placed in 7th and 9th, which is a pretty good improvement. That's 10 places improvement in that year. But as it happened, Mazda wanted more, Mazda wanted better, so they developed the 787, which is obviously the predecessor to the 787B, which I'm driving right here. Interesting Renault. That car led their push for a Le Mans win in 1990, but unfortunately they entered two of the 787s and neither of them finished. They did enter one 767, which did finish, but in 20th, which isn't, you know, great, if we're honest. So then they went back to the drawing board, took everything they learned from the 767, the 767B, the 787, and then went and made the 787B, this legendary car, which I am driving. Oh, the sound of this thing is amazing. Anyway, back to the story. Yeah, they then entered that into Le Mans. The biggest rivals, oh god, I'm off track. The biggest rivals they had at the time was Mercedes in the Sauber C9 and Jaguar in the XJR14, I believe it was. So, in qualifying, the Mercedes and Jaguar, I'm off track again. I'm trying to look at my notes. The Mercedes placed first, one of the Jaguars placed second, and then Mercedes also got 4th and 5th, with the highest 787B placing 12th. So it was going to be quite a task for them to get up the leaderboard in the race, but we'll see what happens, isn't it? It did happen. So on race day, the race starts. Peugeot, surprisingly, leads the race, but doesn't last for long. They go out due to the car catching on fire during refueling in a pit stop, which is pretty mad. This is before, like, probably a lot of safety relegations, so that was a possibility of a thing which could happen. And then subsequently after that, it had a bunch of engine problems from what I read, and they had to drop out of the race because of that. So then the Mercedes went and pretty much took the lead from there. Jaguar did not do very well though, because they had a penalty because they were running an older Le Mans car as well as newer ones, so they had a 200 kilo penalty added to their cars, which obviously throws off the handling and the weight and the distribution quite a lot. Oh my god, I went up that Corvette since, oh, I'm off track a bit. I gotta get back. No Corvette. So yeah, they had a bad race because of that penalty. Same with Porsche, actually. Porsches would have been a quiet contender, but they had the same thing, so them two were pretty much not in contention for the win. So Mercedes was storming away, Mazda were a little bit further back, but the thing which Mazda had, they had good reliability over performance. Like the performance of the Jaguar and the Mercedes was way better than the Mazda, but the Mazda had reliability. In fact, I think I heard, I'm not sure if I remember this correct, but I think I heard after Le Mans they normally they normally take apart the engines to see how much wear is on the engine to rebuild it or whatever the case may be. I think they did it with the 787B and it could have gone for another 24 hours without breaking, which is ridiculous considering it's had 24 hours of what I'm doing in the game right now, constant revving up the red line, changing gears, hard on the brakes, you know, a lot of temperature, a lot of wear on the engine. Oh, look at this ball screw. Okay, I gotta focus for a minute. Okay, I've binned it. Sorry, boss. To be fair, they did not make that easy for me, but it was my fault. So, another thing with weight, Mazda also managed to find a little loophole with the weight. Because this car was a rotary, and I think it was class 1 rotary cars were able to weigh less, so they should have weighed like 1,000 kilos, but Mazda found a loophole. They can make it weigh around 850. Theirs come in at 830. So throughout the race, it had better fuel mileage, less pit stops, more time on track. You get where I'm going with this. And plus it's lighter, so it's going to do better in the corners. As I'm not very well displaying in the game. But anyway, let's fast forward a bit in the race. Mercedes, they look comfortable at the front of the race. But some gaps did form in the race. Number 31 car had to pit due to a gearbox issue, which I think lost them quite a few laps on track trying to fix it. I think they did fix it eventually. And then number 32 Mercedes dropped out after hitting a bit of debris which damaged the engine mounts, and it just couldn't continue because of that, because it would have been, I imagine, unsafe. And then later in the race, 31 was forced to pit again with an overheating water issue, and then a few laps after that, or a few hours after that, number 1 Mercedes car was forced to pit for the same reason, but it was not as lucky as number 31. It could not go out on track again, and the number 1 car was the one which was leading the race. 31 did get back on the track again. They managed to fix that car, but not the number 1 car. So with number 1 car out of the way, I forgot to say, Mazda moved up to 2nd behind Mercedes some point during all that chaos. But with all the chaos which happened and the number 1 car being out of the way, Mazda in this 55 787B was able to pull into the lead and hold it. They held it until the end of the race, where they finished 2 laps ahead of 2nd, which I think was actually Jaguar, because the Mercedes had so many issues that it didn't even come 2nd. I think they came 5th. If what I read was correct, they came 5th. Now you would think, with all the success which Mazda had that year, they would have kept the rotary going, they would have kept building on that success, but they couldn't, unfortunately, because the FIA banned rotaries from Le Mans 24 hours, and to this day they are still banned. So unfortunately we do not get to hear this amazing sound, this fire-breathing car in Le Mans anymore. And that may make the story about this car and the way it won even more legendary. The fact that it had to be banned because of how good it was. It might make it more legendary. For the research for this video, I did use quite a lot of Wikipedia and then took it in my own way. So if some stuff are wrong, that's where it comes from. Please feel free to chuck it in the comments and educate me. I did write up a little thing on this, that's what I'm reading off of. I'm not completely reading off of, but I'm, you know, using it for notes, which I'll leave a link to in the description if you want to see that. I kind of made a little, you know, write-up on it. And yeah, I suppose to end out the video, I'll actually focus on the game now and try and put in a good lap with this absolute beast of a car. Alright, let's go. Get out of this corner as fast as possible. Now! Hey Porsche, bye Porsche. Oh, I should have downshifted. On the neck. Whatever, I don't even know what car the guy is in ahead of me. Bound to be some Le Mans racer. Off track a little bit there, but shh, we don't talk about it. Brave, 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 and brake. That's perfect. What, by 1.7 seconds. Coming into this last bend, which will catch you out if you go too fast. Get on it. Let the 4-rotor scream. There we go. 1:15.5. I know I could go faster, trust me. If I really tried, I could go faster, but I didn't go pull up here. And call that a successful run. I like this Porsche squad. Yeah, we'll call that a successful run. Technically, on a technicality, I am the fastest in the lobby. What was the guy? Oh, they left, I think. Oh, wait, no, they moved up. They were in the Porsche 919. I imagine they, at some point, will probably end up going faster than what I have. But, that is the 787B. This car is a legend. It's been talked about a lot, but I thought I'd do it in a different way while playing as it in the game. I know my racing line when I was talking about the race probably wasn't the best because I was trying to read what I wrote and also drive at the same time, so it's confusing me, but I thought it was a cool concept. If you like the video, please like, subscribe, and yeah, peace.